Do you ever have an idea for a mini but don't know how to make it? Here is how I went from sketch to 3D model using FIVERR. Thank you to FIVERR for sponsoring. 3D modeling on FIVERR is a relatively new service, and already there are a ton of great sellers to choose from, like FIVERR, who's been out there for a while. I wanted a model inspired by the spooky sorcerer on this book cover. FIVERR asked if I had another reference image to help him better envision the character's shape and silhouette, so I sketched in some details, and in a week, based just on this, FIVERR made this awesome model. I kit-bashed it a little in Blender with a head from Saint Decent, and just like that, I had a really unique figure to print out. Last time I did a FIVERR video, I got a comment from a guy named Printed Encounter, saying that he made a FIVERR account after watching my video. Normally it's good to have a little caution when it comes to FIVERR services with so few ratings, but I personally know he's a great sculptor and wanted to give his service a go. First, I needed a sketch. I've been painting a Frostgrave warband and need an apprentice to go along with the bunny sorcerer I have, which, believe it or not, was made by Printed Encounter too. I thought a little bunny student carrying a bunch of scrolls and holding a little wand would be perfect. And here's the sketch I made. And here's the one I actually gave to him. I also was feeling inspired and drew this boar thug for him to do, along with an extra pose, since I'm probably going to need a few of them for the game. I asked if he could do that, and he said yes. Within a few days, I got back some in-process images of the models, and he asked if I had any revisions I wanted done. I inquired if he could make the bunny's head in the style of his other work, instead of exactly what he saw on the sketch, and it was no problem. Since I love me some conversions, I used the elastic deform tool in Blender to make him smile. Aww. I got 2 custom minis and an extra pose for the boar in just a week. If you like the bunny apprentice and the boar models that you've seen here, I've put them into my model and bits box for my patrons. If you end up printing and painting these guys, let me know. I'd love to see them. Alright, let's paint this little bunny apprentice. I started by base coating the mini in Pro Acryl Dark Neutral Gray and sprayed at a 45-degree angle with a white ink to zenithal highlight. Then, I sprayed from below with a red ink to give the shadows some warmth. The red ink sort of gave him killer bunny vibes, so I dry brushed with white. I wanted his fur to have a pattern, and I'm not really brushed up on my rabbit lore. I looked up cute bunny on Google, and this came up. I used Pro Acryl Golden Brown for the markings, and best matched what I saw. I painted his tunic faded ultramarine, since I thought it complemented the gold fur, and painted his vest with mahogany. I painted his books red, brown, and purple, which seemed like good colors for magical books. I also panicked a little and painted the white parts of his fur, which honestly I don't think turned out great. So I had to try to fix it by painting the shadows with bright, warm gray, and glazing on thinned down Skeleton Horde contrast paint, and I blended a little more of the gray into the contrast paint while it was still wet. I think I saved it, but still kinda scary. His wand and the straps on his back were painted with snakebite leather contrast paint, and the scrolls with Skeleton Horde. His nose and the inside of his ears are salmon red, then highlighted with eraser pink. Then I highlighted everything with the original base coats mixed with ivory. Some areas I tried to be more smooth with my highlights, and some I used the highlights to add texture. Then I tackled the part I was putting off, his eyes. This is really hard to film, so the end product is going to look a little bit different than the one you see here. But the main idea is to very carefully paint on a black dot in one eye, and then use that pupil to make sure both eyes are looking in the same direction. I didn't worry too much if I got some black on his eyelids, because you can always go back and fix that later. I took some off-white to clean up the outline of the pupils, just to make sure they were circular. Then I took the brightest white I had, made sure it was thin, then added 2 little spot highlights. You need it to be thin so it will come off the brush easily. Inks are really good for this. The last step for the eyes was adding some thinned down Nuln Oil to give some definition to the eyelids and the eye. While the washes were still out, I panel lined to add better separation between parts. I finally painted his base, and the custom bunny apprentice was done. If you need anything commissioned, FIVERR is a great place to start looking. Also, if you have any skill worth selling, it is definitely worth making a page like Printed Encounter did. You can use FIVERR for a lot of other services as well. I asked Mighty Pages to make a cool retro badge to put on stickers and shirts, and here's what he came up with. Look, I added the script to this hat. Cool. Make sure to check out Jamie Corta, Tharandu, and Mighty Pages, using the links below. Thanks for watching! If you want the bunny and his boar friends for yourself, I've added them to my Model and Bits box on my Patreon. I'll be adding models and bits to it as they appear naturally in videos. I can't wait to see what you'll do with them. I greatly appreciate anyone who thinks my videos are worth supporting. Comment down below with any feedback or suggestions. Alright, bye-bye.